Coach, how big of an adjustment is it playing on Friday?
That's great.
But, you know, we started it back in 2011, I guess. So it certainly was a little bit different when we got to it then. But, you know, we've really kind of grown to like it. And it's really not that big a deal, especially, I think, later in the season, last month of the year. It makes it a little bit more realistic. It'd be tough in August or September, that's for sure.
Your defensive coordinator, Phil Parker, was named to the finalist list of the Broyles Award this week for the top assistant coach in the country. What makes Phil so good at what he does?
I was actually teasing him. I said, you probably got the wrong school next to you to make it to the top 3 or 4. But the other part about it, if you look at his career overall, just the work that he's done, his body of work has been outstanding here. Phil's just a tremendous football coach. I don't know how to describe it. I've always said he's the best secondary coach I've ever worked with, and now that he's become a coordinator, I think about guys like Bill Brazier when I was here in the 80s. I think about working in the NFL, some tremendous guys that were really good coaches, and Phil's right there with him. He just totally dedicated to what he does. He looks at the game a little bit differently, and he's a very strong-willed guy. He's got a unique personality, but the players really respond to him. And I think it's because he's a genuine guy that just loves football and loves good defense.
Alex Padilla started for you the last 2 weeks. How has he impressed you as a young player?
No, he actually started impressing us basically when he got here, and this season and last he was serving as Spencer's backup. Everything he does in a real first-class way. He just prepared well, ran the second-team offense, and when he got a chance to go with the ones, he looked good. So when he stepped in a couple of weeks ago, early in the game against Northwestern, he really performed the way he'd been practicing. So it didn't surprise us at all. The players have responded to him, and I think that the takeaway for us right now is that going into that game, we had one quarterback we had a lot of faith in, and now we've got 2. So it's a really good situation. He continues to operate just the way he has, and he's just a really impressive young person.
What are some of the most important things your team has to do against Nebraska?
Well, it's being a short week. I'll go back to the first point that you made. I really think this time of year in general, and then certainly with a short week, it's so much mental and just the ability to be a mature team. And nobody's on campus right now, so our guys have plenty of time. That can be an ally or it can be a real distraction. I think all of us remember as players, when the season ends, just all of a sudden you got all this time, you end up wasting a lot of time. So we really encourage our guys to continue doing a good job of putting the work in necessary for the preparation, and also try to make sure they understand we're not doing near as much physical work as you would say, in September, October. So they've really got to really put that extra time in mentally. And then the other part, and this is true all year round, it's just anytime you take the field, having a true appreciation and respect for the opponent you're playing, and then also what it takes to win, especially in this conference. And that's week to week. So I think our guys get that concept, but you look at what Nebraska's done this year. You look at our last 3 games since Coach Frost has been there. They've all gone right down to the wire, and I think that's what we all expect this Friday.
Last question for you. If you don't mind sharing with us your choice of gum on the sidelines during the game, and maybe how many sticks you go through.
Yeah, this is really newsworthy. It's a frequently asked question around our state. First of all, I always say it's better than smoking. So, chewing gum is better than that. I was a long-time bubbly young guy. My teeth are straight, but they're like chalk. They're really soft. So I got to go sugarless there. And I don't know if it's tied in with the pandemic, but we can't get bubble gum anymore. So I've shifted over to Trident cinnamon. And I'll mix a little of the green. I think it's wintergreen or whatever. Spearmint. I don't know. This is the green box. I'll mix a little of those in too. So one of those a quarter, but mainly cinnamon.
Well, I'm glad it's all sugarless, Coach. And
absolutely.
As always,
I go that route.
And as always, appreciate your time. Good luck, Coach.
Have a great Thanksgiving. Thanks, Trey.
You bet.
First and goal, Huskers. Play action. Armstrong on a rollout. Throws one to the pylon. Kenny Bell's got a touchdown. Nebraska wins it in overtime.
2:34, the final of that game. Kenny Bell, the hero to push Nebraska past Iowa. Kenny Bell, as I mentioned, very popular here in Lincoln, Nebraska. Kenny, just rewatching that video back one more time, what kind of emotions are brought back?
Golly, there's a ton of emotions. Sadness, I'd say, because it's been a while.
Yeah.
We're
getting old.
Gotta shout out the Hawkeyes. I mean, that was the last time we won. I think it was 2014.
Yep.
So, but happiness, man, and gratefulness. These Husker fans are out here in droves, as they always are, to see Huskers get a W today, hopefully.
Kenny, if you ask any non-Nebraska Big Ten player, they would tell you this is one of the most unique places to play at. So from your perspective, who spent 4 years here, what makes it so special?
Man, everything about it. I haven't played in 7 years. I got folks yelling my name. You know, I'm incredibly grateful. I get to come back here, and it's always so welcoming. And you said it perfectly. There's tons of guys that come here, and they realize how unique it is. I was thankful enough to just take a visit here before I signed anywhere else. Yeah. So I landed here, obviously, with these great people.
Kenny, during your career, you were 3-1 against Iowa. How do you think this team today, with a true freshman starter at quarterback, how do they replicate some of your success?
It's going to be tough for them. This Iowa team is prepared. They're a good football team, but what I love about the Huskers right now is how they're playing defense. That black shirt defense is coming together late in the season, and they're going to need to force some turnovers and create some magic for that offense to get going today. That's for sure.
Your sophomore year, you guys made a run to the Big Ten championship. Plain and simple, what does it take to get there?
Well, first you got to go through Iowa. And it's usually in Iowa City, and it's going to be cold. But I think, honestly, it just takes the dedication and the pride that a football team like Iowa has. You guys are questioning me about the Hawkeyes up here in Lincoln, making me shout them out. But they're definitely a great football team, but it takes pride and tradition in your football program, and it takes learning how to win. It takes a long time to come out here and figure out how to beat great Big Ten football teams week after week. You know how tough it is to play.
Yeah,
in this conference.
I don't remember what happened sophomore year when you played, but I remember what happened junior year when we played. I remember that, but I don't know. I'm kind of hazy about what happened
It's
sophomore
funny
year.
How amnesia works.
Yeah,
in
it's an
games
interesting
like
thing.
That,
it's a
isn't
really
it?
interesting
Funny.
thing. It is.
Because I think 2014 you guys were here, but I don't remember
I don't remember that. Yeah, it
No
happens.
bitterness there whatsoever. And Kenny, you're very busy, and you're not here talking with us. You're hitting the links with current Big Ten football stars, so let's take a look at that.
I got my good friend JoJo Doman here. Who is the biggest football guy in the locker room?
That's got to be me.
Wow, he stuck it too.
Man, is this even real right now? I'm playing golf with Kenny Bell.
So who won that matchup, you or JoJo?
Between JoJo and I won that matchup with
Okay.
JoJo. However, we've got numerous episodes of Link Up coming up. My next episode, I played with Eric Crouch, the last Heisman winner for the Huskers, who beat me all over his home course. It was brutal. There's people out in Omaha like, hey, how you guys doing? And I was like, not good. I'm not having fun. But I got to play with some Gopher great Eric Decker and another Husker, Will Compton. So make sure you go on the YouTube, check that show out, Link Up. It's a fun gig. I go out, I play 9 holes with some of these legends.
There are worse jobs out there.
Much worse jobs. They're certainly worse gigs to have.
Is there a golf history between you two?
He whooped me so bad that whole selective amnesia thing, and it kind of happens. But I'll be back in Colorado later next year, and we will run that back for sure.
We had a golf match a few years ago, but we'll get another one in.
Well, I think we need to televise that next time.
Maybe we will.
To bring it on the Tailgate Show. Kenny, thanks so much for your time.
Thank you all.
He's so popular here. Man, you're like the mayor of Lincoln. Dave, guys, I wish I was as popular as Kenny Bell in Lincoln.
Coach, how big of an adjustment is it to play a Friday game?
Probably not as big as some people think. It's tough on the coaches. You got to hurry up and get a game plan ready and get everything installed. This particular one, we got a little extra time because of Thanksgiving and some break with school. It's a good tradition. We love it and love playing a good team like Iowa on a Friday.
You played quarterback. You've obviously coached quarterbacks. Logan Smothers is going to be a first-time starter against Iowa. As a first-time starter, what are his biggest challenges?
I think just managing the game. Probably number 2, making sure we don't have any turnovers. Iowa's a team that is really won games because of the turnovers they've created. They're opportunistic on defense. That's changed games for them. We got to make sure that we don't beat ourselves and turn the ball over to them, and taking care of the football is important.
How does you being a former quarterback help coach a quarterback and understand what they go through?
I think it helps, but at the end of the day, they got to go out there and do it. And we put them in as many situations as we can to try to get them ready, talk to them as much as we can. Logan's the type of kid that I think will be excited to play and play some of his best football in this situation, and we're going to need that.
The season hasn't gone according to plan, but what are you most pleased with about the way your team has handled things?
Well, we played good football. We've just come up short a bunch of times, and it's heartbreaking, but it's also encouraging seeing the progress and how good a football we're playing on both sides of the ball. We just need some momentum. You got to win a game or two, and as much as the kids believe, they got to experience that and then believe even more. What I'm really proud of is these guys just continue to come and fight against really good opponents and put themselves in position to have a chance to win. Hasn't happened as often as we want, but I know they're going to keep up the fight.
Who are some of the leaders that have helped you do that?
All the obvious guys, Damian Daniels and Austin Allen and Adrian Martinez and Deontay Williams and JoJo Doman and just a bunch of guys. We got the best leadership we've had on our team in my tenure at Nebraska, and those guys are helping everybody keep their mind in the right place and keep working.
What are some of the most important things you want to see your team do against Iowa?
Well, again, turnovers is probably the number one thing. We got to play a clean game. If you don't, things can get backwards really quick. And then play well on special teams. These guys have beaten us on special teams a few years in a row. They're good at it. We got to make sure we don't lose the game there. Got to avoid any explosive plays from them in special teams. And then we just got to have the same fight that we've had for 11 weeks this year.
Coach, always appreciate your time. Thank you.
Good to see you, Coach.
You got a tight end this big, it's a mismatch regardless. You can't put small guy on you because you're just going to play big ball out there. And big dude like me probably couldn't keep up anyway, so it's an automatic advantage there.
I love it, love it.
Please be joined by Austin Allen, the outstanding giant tight end for the Nebraska Cornhuskers. What part of your game do you see as the biggest advantage outside of your size when you're playing?
Yeah, I think my background in basketball helps me a lot with what I do on the football field. A lot of times they tell me to use the skills I learned on the basketball court on the field, whether that be a search route, you got to find the open area and just be a big man, box them out, make a big play.
I mean, you guys have been extremely close in a lot of games, never been blown out. The outcomes haven't gone your way, but it seems like continually you just keep fighting in games. What goes into that mentality in the locker room that nobody's punted on the season? You guys keep going out there and playing really good ball.
It stems from the guys we have on this team. We've had a lot of frustrating losses, one-score games where we shoot ourselves in the foot and really kind of get our mental aspect of it just beat down. I mean, it's hard to come back from a game you lose to Oklahoma and Michigan State on the last second play. Like, it's tough to do that, but it says a lot about the guys coming back and battling every week. The guys that have this team, it shows a lot about their character.
What makes game day in Memorial Stadium so special?
Can't say many bad things about the tunnel walk at Nebraska. It's a great experience. It's what a lot of kids dream of, to walk out on that red carpet and how interactive the fans are in the tunnel and the light show and the fans going crazy in the stadium. It's an experience you'll never forget. So we call this the big bag release drill. That simulated a defender, and the way this drill works, we can align in different areas to work the defender's leverage. So if I line inside, I'm going to attack the defender's leverage on the outside, and I can work release inside. If I'm starting heads up, you can really work either release, whereas the outside, you attack a leverage down, leave them inside, and get into your route in that regard.
Are you reading coverage, trying to figure out if it's zone, if it's man, and does that change the way that you're going to attack the defender?
Yeah, so the way our coach teaches it, when you're getting lined up in your formation, you should be able to, he calls it your triangle, between the corner, the safety, and your defender inside. You read your triangle, and pre-snap, you should have a read of what you're doing. If it's man or zone, if it's zone, you know you can attack the leverage, he's going to stay inside. Mm-hmm. Whereas if it's man, you got to work your man releases now off of him. So pre-snap is what we're going to get our man zone indicators. His leverage is inside, so I'm going to try and leave him inside because I got an in-breaking route. So quarterback's inside, on the set, ready to go. I'm going to attack his leverage down. I'm going to work my release. I'm going to rip through, dip the shoulders so he can't get our hands on us, into your route, break it across. Quarterback's gonna hit you right here. Travis is a great quarterback. Score a touchdown.
When you dip, that takes off some of the body surface so he can't get hands on you.
Yep.
And then you're able to get a clean release there.
In our practice, a lot of times, Luke Reimer and Nick Heinrichs, they love to get hands on, love to reroute us. So the more we can dip and rip and get our shoulders and the surface of our chest out of there, the less hands they can get on us. Love it. Good release, good stick. Score the touchdown. Strike up the band.